Process Development at SBChem Intermediates Private Limited, Tirupur, Chennai. May I have the next slide? Description of chemical engineering and importance of chemical engineers are presented here to get a clear view of the concept. Can you please zoom it out? Okay. Chemical engineering can be defined as the set of processes, that is, unit operations and unit processes combined, and principles applied from the subjects of physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology to convert raw materials into products. For example, from amino acids to amino acid derivatives in case of a pharmaceutical intermediates industry. From petroleum to petroleum derivatives in case of a petrochemical refinery. From amino acid derivatives to peptides in case of a pharmaceutical bulk drug industry. It is used to efficiently produce, design, transport, and transform products, energy, and materials with respect to health, safety, and environment. Chemical engineering helps to investigate problems and design solutions for issues such as safety, efficiency, and sustainability that makes a greater impact on the society as well as for the industry. Chemical engineers conduct research to develop new and improved manufacturing processes from existing literatures and innovative ideas. They conduct tests such as chromatography for purity and limit tests such as chloride tests, heavy metals tests, and sulfate tests, and monitor process performance throughout production. They evaluate tools and processes to ensure compliance with safety and environmental regulations through good manufacturing practices and good laboratory practices. They develop processes, that is, modify existing processes or create new processes for separating liquid and gas components using controlled chemical processes. They solve problems with the manufacturing process. Some of the problems are optimization of production process, optimization of production parameters such as temperature, pressure, flow rate, time, etc. Choosing suitable equipment for the production process. They estimate the cost of production for management and safety procedures for those dealing with dangerous chemicals, such as standard operating procedures. They design and lay out and equipment. Process design engineering is a separate deep branch in which simulation and optimization takes place to chemically design an equipment. May I have the next slide? Chemical engineering employment sectors are presented in this slide. Chemical engineers are employed in biotechnology, chemicals and allied products, process plant construction, pharmaceutical and toiletries, water industry, food and beverage industries, environmental protection and recycling, energy such as oil, gas, and nuclear industries, process plant and equipment manufacture, materials such as plastics, dyes, metals, paper industries, academics, information technology, consultancy, and other sectors as process development engineer, process safety engineer, plant process engineer, process design engineer, and quality control engineer. May I have the next slide? Laboratory process layout is presented here to get a better understanding of the concept. The reaction is carried out in a reaction vessel. The reaction vessel may range from round bottom flask in case of laboratories to reactors in case of production plant. The reactants are introduced into the reaction vessel. The reagent is then added in cold temperatures slowly in order to avoid exothermic reaction. The reaction mixture is then stirred for complete reaction time. Completion of reaction is then identified by thin layer chromatography. It is used to identify the product as well as the raw materials using polarity difference. The reaction mixture is then adjusted to a pH of desired product, and there is where the two layers form. First layer is aqueous layer, which contains the raw material, that is water soluble substances, and second layer is organic layer, in which contains product, that is solvent based substances. I mean substances soluble in solvent. Organic layer is separated from the aqueous layer and washed by brine solution, that is sodium chloride concentrated in water. Organic layer is then distilled by heating at a solvent's boiling point through rotary evaporator in case of laboratories, or through distillation columns in case of production plant. The solvent travels as a gas vapor through the condenser as we heat the organic layer. Through cooling by the circulation pump, gas phase turns to liquid phase in the condenser, and then the residue is collected in the receiver flask. The left behind in the round bottom flask is the distillate, and the receiver is collected in the receiver flask. That is nothing but recovery solvent. The distillate is then isolated for final product and filtered through Bucknell funnel setup in case of laboratories and centrifuges in case of production plant. The wet solid is then dried using a heat-induced drying oven in case of laboratories, and tray dryers and fluidized bed dryers in case of production plant. Importance of drying is to expand the shelf life of product and increase the stability of the product. The final dry product is then sent to quality control laboratory for complete analysis. This analysis includes analysis of the physical and chemical properties of a final product. They also check the compliance with regulatory standards as well as the customer specifications. May I have the next slide? Here are chemical business complexities. Raw materials. Not having easy access to raw materials is a primary challenge in organic as well as the inorganic chemical industries. The cost of raw materials is also a big concern when it comes to chemical business complexities. Logistics issue. Most of the chemical companies are established in one particular region of the nation, but the demand from the end use industries come from another region of the nation or other nation. This gives rise to conveyance issues, whereas gives rise to high transportation costs. High transportation costs can result in high production costs, working at low capacities. Chemical companies are facing issues from new competitors from emerging markets. Thus, chemical companies working at low capacities earn a lower return on investment, R&D, that is research and development. Innovation in research and development is a key priority for leaders, yet innovation objectives are not always aligned with business strategy. Innovation objectives are sometimes adjusted to respond to regulatory changes. HR-related issues. One of the most challenging issue is the HR-related issue. We need skilled laborers. We need skilled laborers for chemical businesses. When it meets a demand for chemical industries, when it meets a demand as shortage of employees, it will affect the productivity. Not only the productivity issue, but also result in production cost as well as the recruitment time. May I have the next slide? Regulation and compliance. Chemical companies are facing issues in documentation and certification of product quality and procedural compliance. These issues are driven by government regulations and customer requirements. Demand for multi-stage production. Chemical company customers are demanding complex multi-stage, multi-product processes that involves extensive list of components and more production time. Hence, it is difficult to produce products that involve in multi-stage production. It will largely cut the profit margin of the chemical industries. Technology update requirements. Tools like artificial intelligence, blockchain, and latest tools like artificial intelligence, blockchain, and Internet of Things provide several advantages, but implementing and integrating them into existing processes can be a labor-intensive process as well as the time-consuming process. Hazard analysis. Hazard analysis means not only compliance with regulatory standards, but also managing the company's carbon footprint. Managing the limits on waste sent to landfills and water treatment plants, along with emissions, is a key challenge. Formula management. Chemical companies rely on formulas to track usage and consistent product quality. Tracking multiple measurements and scale up of production are the key complexities arise in formula management. May I have the next slide? These are the chemical business complexities, corrosive liquids, and environment. Some of the chemicals we use in the chemical businesses are corrosive and not environmental friendly. It is the complexity number 1 in this diagram. Number 2, safety norms and regulations. Because of the safety norms and regulations, chemical company may have the least productivity because of the compliance with safety regulations. Some chemical companies do produce their products by not complying with safety regulations. These are all the complexities related to safety norms and regulations. Number 3, materials having different parameters. Without proper knowledge of the materials, research and development field of the chemical businesses stuck in this scenario. Number 4, improvement in plant efficiency. It depends on man, machine, and material of the chemical businesses. If either one of the factors fail, we cannot improve plant efficiency. Number 5, presence of fumes, dust, and fire hazards. It may result in accident when an employee works without proper knowledge. Number 6, high temperature and pressure conditions. Without proper equipment, the chemical company faces huge losses because of high temperature and pressure conditions due to some explosive environments. May I have the next slide? Quality control. Key complexities arise with quality control department or vendor approval quality tests, vendor approval quality tests, and additional quality tests that can be scheduled and tracked. Rework. One of the most frustrating challenge for the chemical businesses is the need to rework. When a batch does not meet quality standards, we need to rework. Rework is the adjustment of materials in order to quality standards. Innovation. Innovation objectives are not always aligned with business strategy. It is the key complexity when it comes to chemical businesses in recent days. Innovation objectives sometimes adjusted to respond to regulatory changes. Online portals. Chemical companies should decide who the point of contact for which products for customers should be and who will have access to important customer information. Mergers and acquisitions. Recently, we have seen transactional multipliers surge to new heights. Expectations of future sales growth are the reasons beyond this. Hence, it is very important to solidly assess the markets before foundation of chemical businesses. May I have the next slide? Sustainable products and practices. Chemical customer companies are demanding sustainable products and practices with conscientious science choice of materials, which is difficult to produce as regulations evolve and change. Global operating environment, environmental responsibility changes, and product and process consistency are the modern challenges for the chemical industries. Formula costs. Cutting down formula costs to create new efficiencies, and that is the main complexity when it comes to formula costs. May I have the next slide? In this slide, existing chemical supply chain diagram is represented. The existing chemical supply chain combines chemical manufacturers, producers, and distributors to fulfill process needs. The process starts with the raw materials that chemical companies purchase from suppliers and convert into useful chemical products. Chemical manufacturers struggle with their complex supply chain when it comes to dealing with hazardous chemicals. May I have the next slide? Here are the rapid innovation techniques in unfolding chemical business complexities. Real-time information availability, capital allocation to cross-border M&A. When it comes to mergers and acquisitions, top risk factors are tax law, regulatory, business risk, and so on. Planning products value chains. To achieve the product stability, chemical companies need to adopt data accumulation and analysis tools for market intelligence. Special economic zones. Special economic zones have always been beneficial for the chemical businesses because it ensures cheap and easy duty-free transport of import of raw materials. Twin strategy. Chemical businesses should adopt twin strategy where the local companies may reach leadership position with strong vendor partnership arrangements. May I have the next slide? Specialty chemicals. One of the best opportunities to tweak the portfolio is to add specialty chemicals. Specialty chemicals are polymer additives and lubricant additives and so on. Biodegradable polymers are in high demand due to environmental concerns. Inventory management. Real-time sensor data and long-lasting asset monitoring, Internet of Things devices without infrastructure requirement are the tools for inventory management in case of unfolding chemical business complexities. Accurate documentation. Accurate documentation is essential for not only for the regulatory compliance, but also for the employee safety and efficient inventory management system. When it comes to change-driven processes, if chemical companies fail to make changes, such as fail to lead change-driven processes, they may miss tomorrow's major growth opportunities. They may find themselves stuck in a large range of growing chemical startups. Blockchain. Blockchain is the recent technology that is being disrupted in many industries, being used by chemical companies to track resource use and location throughout the value chain. May I have the next slide? Dry lab testing. Dry lab testing is one of the most important features when it comes to research and development. It involves high-powered computers combined with artificial intelligence to simulate experiments to efficient innovation. It takes physical world into account in experiments, and it allows process development chemists to run hundreds of thousands of experiments rapidly at the same time, then use machine learning to generate results, to generate success rates, and suggest the ways to optimize conditions of the experiments. Enterprise resource planning. Product lifecycle management. quality management, supply chain management, and regulatory compliance are the core tools involved in enterprise resource planning to unfold chemical business complexities. Recycled chemicals. The use of recycled chemicals in the chemical businesses reduce waste elimination costs and production costs, conserve energy, reduce waste sent to landfills and water treatment plants. Customer-specific service arrangements. By providing customer-specific service arrangements to the customer companies, chemical businesses can increase their product portfolio and enhance their customer relationship. Superior planning capabilities. By planning the production process, we can reduce the production cycle time as well as we can deliver on time. May I have the next slide? The diagram represents the use of rapid innovation in unfolding chemical business complexities. These involve transformational steps and its description, such as smart manufacturing and supply chain management. May I have the next slide? Predictive analytics systems. Route optimization. These two are equal when it comes to its functions. Chemical companies can uncover unknown bottlenecks and unprofitable production lines using predictive analytics systems and route optimization. Better networking through the value chain and transparency through close communication can be achieved by predictive logistics systems in chemical businesses. Modern order management system. Through this system, current needs as well as the future needs of the chemical businesses can be achieved. Joint R&D activities. Joint R&D activities are formal agreements between two or more chemical companies engaged in research and development of technologies. May I have the next slide? Another innovative techniques useful in unfolding chemical business complexities are leading edge technology, multi-company ecosystems, standardization, multi-dimensional inventory visibility, and smart monetizing strategies. These can help chemical businesses in terms of production planning, inventory management, and product management fields. May I have the next slide? The diagram represents the benefits of artificial intelligence in every step of the supply chain. Planning. Full transparency can be achieved through end-to-end optimization can be achieved in planning. Procurement. Full data integration from suppliers can be achieved in procurement. Production. Agile production planning and scheduling can be achieved in production using artificial intelligence. Logistics and distribution. Reduction of costs and environmental impact can be achieved in logistics and distribution using artificial intelligence in this particular supply chain. Marketing and sales. Full transparency can be achieved in marketing and sales through artificial intelligence. May I have the next slide? Future of innovation in chemical engineering. The diagram represents the existing business models as well as the future business models, where the existing business models contain limited technologies, whereas the future business models contain artificial intelligence based techniques. May I have the next slide? Here, useful websites are presented for a chemical engineer. Number 1, Chemical Engineering Magazine, that is chemengonline.com, CHEMENG online.com. This magazine provides the latest and existing trends of chemical engineering. This magazine is available both in printed format as well as in digital format. Number 2, the Engineering Toolbox website, theengineeringtoolbox.com. This website presents the various topics involved in the subjects of chemical engineering, such as process control, fluid mechanics, and thermodynamics. Number 3, Unit Operation website, unitoperation.com. This website is a complete package for GATE chemical engineering aspirants. This website presents previous year question papers as well as the solved problems for previous year question papers. May I have the next slide? Chemical engineering is a field in which creativity and logic go hand in hand. Let's make the world a better place by chemical engineering. I extend my heartfelt thanks to the organizers of this great seminar event. Thank you to one and all. Thank you.